Okay, my dear students, good morning. How are you? So after a few days, again I have come here to meet you and to talk about an interesting topic. Already you have got some ideas about this topic in my previous lecture. Anyway, in my previous lecture I talked about sentences, kinds of sentences, and that is rudiments or elements of a simple sentence I did mention in my previous lecture. And to talk about sentence making, that is completing in complete sentences, I did give you some ideas about what a sentence is, and at the same time I talked that in my next class I will talk about clause and different kinds of clauses. Because whenever we want to compose a sentence, we want to write a sentence, we in fact write some clauses, because a sentence is nothing but either one clause or more than one clauses. So let's talk about clause and its kinds. First, I would like to tell you what a clause is. Look at this sentence I am writing here. I am a lecturer in English. How many sentences I have written here? If you look at the board, you will find two sentences have been written here. One is I am a lecturer in English. Or if I write this, look at the two sentences. First one is Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer in English. The second one is Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer who teaches English. So two sentences are here. In the first sentence, Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer in English, there is one clause. In the second sentence, Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer who teaches English. So here on clause, here we find two clauses. Now the question is, what is a clause? If we analyze these clauses, we will also understand the definition of a clause. The previous day I told you that a clause is nothing but a composition of a finite verb and a subject. That is, a clause consists of a subject and a finite verb. Look at this clause. This is a sentence and it has one clause. Therefore, this is a clause. Here, Muhammad Habibullah is the subject and there is verb is. This is the finite verb. So, one subject, one finite verb, and there is no other verb in this sentence. And there is no other subject. So there is only one subject and only one finite verb. therefore it is a clause. But if we look at this sentence, Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer who teaches English. Here we find Muhammad Habibullah on subject, is a verb, a finite verb. So on subject, on finite verb, on clause, gone. If we look at the other, here who is the subject and thesis is the finite verb. So here is on subject, on verb. So on subject, on verb, on clause, another on subject, on verb, another clause. So 1 plus 1, 2 clauses here. So in the first sentence there is on clause, but in the second clause sentence there are 2 clauses. So I have already mentioned that a sentence may consist of on clause, or a sentence may consist of more than on clauses. Now here you see 3 clauses in 2 sentences, but all the clauses used here are not of the same kinds. That is, 2 kinds of clauses have been mentioned here in these 2 sentences. In the first sentence, Mr. Habibullah is Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer in English on clause, and in English grammar, this clause is known as an independent clause. But in the second sentence, there are 2 clauses. The first clause, Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer, this is an independent clause. But the second clause, that is who teaches English, this is a dependent clause. Now the question is, what is an independent clause and what is a dependent clause? This is very important, because based on the combination of principal dependent clause and independent clause, different kinds of sentences are formed. Here, look at the first sentence, Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer. Do you think this is a complete sentence? Complete sentence means this very sentence gives a complete sense, a complete meaning. Obviously, we will see Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer. This is a complete sentence. Everyone understands that this sentence has a meaning, and that is, there is no grammatical problem and there is no semantic problem, that is any problem regarding meaning in the first sentence. So the first sentence is complete, and to be complete, this sentence does not depend on any other clause. That is, on clause, only on clause is enough for making a full sentence. And as this clause, that is this first sentence, or this is a clause, it does not depend on anyone else for giving a sense, giving a meaning. It means that this is an independent clause. It does not depend on anything. Similarly, if we look at this clause, Mr. Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer. Imagine there is no other clause. Only look at this. Muhammad Habibullah is a lecturer. We see that this clause is also an independent clause, because to give a sense, to give a meaning, this clause does not depend on the following clause. Because without this, if we don't look at this clause, imagine there is no other clause, it would be a full sentence. That is, it gives a complete meaning. So meaning of this clause does not depend on the following clause. Therefore, this is also an independent clause. But if we do not keep this clause here in this sentence, only if we write who teaches English, this clause is not complete. It does not give a complete sense, complete meaning. This clause remains incomplete. We cannot consider it a sentence, or it cannot give a full sense. That is, when another clause is written here, it can give a meaning. But if no other clause is written here, that is, if no other independent clause is written here, this very clause cannot give a meaning. It means that the meaning of this clause, completeness of this clause, depends on another clause. What does it mean? It means this is an independent clause. Dependent clause, because it depends on another clause. As it depends on another clause, this is a dependent clause. So we have got 2 kinds of clauses: principal, independent clause and dependent clause. If a clause depends on another clause for its meaning, for its sense, it is called dependent clause. But if a clause does not depend on another clause for its sense or meaning, then it is independent clause. But bear in mind, different terminologies are used for same kind of clause. For example, say I have mentioned independent clause. Independent clause. In fact, in some books you may get that it is also called principal clause. An independent clause has another name, that is principal clause. Why is it called principal clause? Because principal in a college, the head of a college is principal. Everyone depends on principal, but principal doesn't depend on anyone else. Therefore, in a sentence, we know two kinds of clauses mainly: principal clause and subordinate clause. Why principal clause? Independent clause is called principal clause because an independent clause does not depend on another clause. Similarly, a principal does not depend on any other person in a college. Therefore, in this sense, independent clause is also called principal clause. It is also called main clause. So, the same clause, that is independent clause, has two more names, that is principal clause or main clause we call. In the same way, we see we have got dependent clause. This very dependent clause has another name, that is subordinate clause. If independent clause can be called a principal clause, similarly the dependent clause can be called a subordinate clause. And so we have got principal clause, independent clause or main clause are the same. Again, subordinate clause and the dependent clause are the same thing. And there is another kind of clause that is also called coordinating clause. Coordinating clause. Look at this. Some people give coordinating clause. Some people give this hyphen and some people do not give the hyphen. And yeah, it is coordinating clause. We have got principal clause, subordinate clause or independent clause, dependent clause. Now, what is coordinating clause? Look at this sentence. Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer and he teaches English. Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer and he teaches English. Here, how many clauses are there? We find two clauses here. Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer, one clause. He teaches English, another clause. So, do you think that Mr. Habibullah, if we do not look at this, imagine this clause is absent here and one clause remains. Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer. If there is another clause, what happens? You must think that Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer is an independent clause. Again, imagine this clause is absent here and if we write only he teaches English. What happens? This is also an independent clause because he teaches English is a complete, it can give a complete sense, and Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer, it also can give a complete sense. That it means that both Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer and he teaches English are independent clauses. So, when two independent clauses or more than two independent clauses, that is when at least two independent clauses are joined using coordinating conjunction like and, but, or, etc. When two principal clauses or independent clauses are joined together using some coordinating conjunction, these clauses are then called coordinating clauses. These clauses here, these two clauses have been joined using the word and. Therefore, Mr. Habibullah is a lecturer and he teaches English. Both the clauses are coordinating clauses and is coordinating conjunction. So, when two principal clauses or independent clauses are joined together using coordinating conjunctions, then each clause is known as a coordinating clause. So, how many clauses we have got? We have got three kinds of clauses. Number one, principal clause or independent clause or main clause. Number two, dependent clause or subordinate clause. Number three, coordinating clause or coordinate clause, some people call it. So we have got ideas about what a clause is, what are the different kinds of clauses. Now we'll see how sentences are formed or composed using different kinds of clauses. Already I have mentioned, or I mentioned in my previous lecture, that based on a structure, based on the use of different kinds of clauses, sentences, there can be mainly three kinds of sentences. In normal English, three kinds of sentences are used. They are simple, complex, and compound. What are the sentences that are produced or composed using different kinds of clauses? Look at this. These three kinds of clauses or sentences can be made. Number one, simple. Number two, complex. Number three, compound. Simple sentence, complex sentence, and compound sentence. Simple sentence is very simple, as it is produced very simply. That's it is called simple sentence, because look at, in simple sentence there is only one clause. One clause. One clause can make a simple sentence. What kind of clause then it would be? A simple sentence has only one clause, and that is independent clause. So, if you find only one clause in a sentence and that is an independent clause, if you find only one clause and that very clause is an independent clause, you can simply tell that this is a simple sentence. So, making a simple sentence is very simple. Just write a principal clause, that is an independent clause, and it would be a simple sentence. Okay, my dear student, my time is over. No more today. Next I will talk about how complex sentence and compound sentences are produced using different kinds of clauses. Okay, just I like to give a recap what we have learned today. Today we have learned what a clause is. Secondly, we have learned different kinds of clauses, that is principal clause, subordinate clause, and coordinating clause. And we have understood using some examples. And we also have understood there are three kinds of sentences: simple, complex, compound, based on the use of different kinds of clauses. And we have learned only one very important thing, that a simple sentence consists of only one clause, and that very clause is definitely a principal clause. Thank you very much. Hope to meet you again. Bye.